Let's check out the newspaper building. I know this is where I have to go. At some point at least. After an extreme hire. Oh. 3 fire hydrants. The building still burnt down. Not true. Edna's Diner. Yes, please. Man's needs.
Hi, what's your name?
Karen,
What are you doing?
playing. My mom is working, so I gotta stay out of her hair. Wanna play?
Not now, maybe later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
That was a great conversation.
Oh, Steve, what are you doing sneaking up on me like that? God, for a second I thought you were Mr. Johnson. What would you like to order?
I'm gonna order me some beer. Crack a cold one, Edna, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Sure. And my name's Edna Fitzpatrick. I'm not the one with amnesia.
Then you believe me.
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve.
I guess I've changed. I'm not kidding.
Now, Steve, faking amnesia won't help anything.
Yeah.
If you don't want to marry Stephanie, then don't. But don't play sick, for heaven's sake. I'd expect that from Karen, not an 18-year-old.
That's true. Why don't you tell me about Mr. Johnson, eh?
Mr. Johnson has a liking for me. I'd call it a crush, but that's too innocent a word. He's a bitter man with too much time on his hands. He's never gotten over being rejected by the lodge, and there's something unwholesome in the way he looks at me. I'm always glad when the sheriff comes in every day at noon.
He's a man with too much time and too much penis in his hands.
The lodge is the repository of all wisdom. You should join the Order of the Harvest Moon, Steve, and soon.
Why? For God's sake, what is it about this place?
The wheat ripens and waits not for the scythe. The farmer who waits too long, it were better that he use the scythe to rip his own stomach out than to stay his scythe when the wheat ripens. The harvest moon wanes and then comes winter. An empty belly, the body sun's belly, gurgling within or bloody on the ground. What does it benefit a man if he gains his soul and loses the world? You hunger. Feed yourself before it's too late. Oh,
Edna?
Steve. What happened? Were we talking about Boyle? Or was it Karen?
You seemed strange there for a minute.
I'm sorry. I'm under a lot of stress. Running this diner all alone. Forgive me.
Sure. I'm gonna go now.
Stop by anytime, Steve.
But hey, that's okay. There's no way I'm getting in there. How about the meat plant? It's with a big stink. Kitty cat. I can't watch the kitty cat. Fuck you.
Steve, how's your father? Is he better?
About the same, I guess.
He's been away from work for weeks, and when I call your house, your mother won't let me talk to him.
I haven't seen him either.
This is a fine kettle of fish, I must say. Though I am glad to see you taking an interest in the business in your dad's absence.
Who are you?
Aw, Steve, I didn't want to believe that amnesia hokum. Now you're saying you don't remember your pal Pat O'Reilly?
Ask me about the family. Oh, there's the dead cat. Family business.
You may come to realize that this business is not for everybody. Just ask your poor, ill dad. It takes dedication and a strong stomach. A lot of times, when I'm finished scrubbing up and digging the bits of intestine out from my fingernails, I must confess I don't have much appetite for red meat. But red meat is one of the principal food groups, and you've got to have it.
You gotta
so
have
when
it.
you can do this all day and help yourself to a juicy red steak afterwards, then by golly, you can call yourself a butcher. Of course, amnesia would certainly help that, wouldn't it?
Where's the meat?
Come to think of it, I don't see any cattle around here. Where do you keep the animals?
Does it matter? The end product is all the customer cares
That's
about,
true.
Steve. And we only carry the finest meat, only the juiciest cuts. Once you take over the business, you'll realize the importance of maintaining quality while cutting costs. We know what we're doing here, Steve. If we didn't, would the lodge use us to cater their affairs?
I'm not sure all these cutscenes are necessary, but, you know. Could I have some meat?
Your father's very particular about the profit, Steve. No freebies for anyone. But seeing how you're his son, if you'll bring written permission from your father, I'll give you the meat. The Order of the Harvest Moon sponsors a weenie roast on the lodge grounds every summer, which we cater, though they tend to get their meat elsewhere the rest of the year.
I wonder why.
Heck, the best way to find out is to sign up with them. They're a great organization, Steve. They do wonderful work, just like us butchers. They do what needs to be done and expect nothing in return.
Then how do they support themselves? Membership dues?
From what I hear, the work is its own reward.
That's true. I just love the work. I can ask you about the cats.
What's with all the cats? This a slaughterhouse or a kennel?
Oh, them? They eat the scraps, that's all.
Yeah, but look at them. Isn't there some kind of health department that keeps tabs on these things?
Are you going to work at the health department, Steve? Or here?
Here, of course.
That's good to know. Your father will be very happy, if he recovers.
My point was only, you shouldn't allow animals in the food processing area, right?
We don't let them get into the meat. That's unsanitary, and the health department wouldn't stand for it. There's things you don't know about the family business, but you'll learn.
You're right. Yeah, I bet.
Don't be such a stranger, Steve, and my best to your dad.
Bloody tire tracks. Yeah. No bodies have been processed here. Memorial School. Oh, please do.
Steve, good of you to drop by, big guy. Haven't seen you since graduation. A lot of changes, I hear.
You could say that.
Good, good. That's a nice part of my job. Turning fine young men and women out into the world, and then watching them prosper. Of course, I was able to reach more people at the old Sentinel, God bless her. But then again, I never got to see the results of my work up close before.
Who are you?
You know very well I'm Mr. Harold, the principal of Gain Memorial. Steve, I've heard about this amnesia nonsense. I had hoped you'd be in the lodge by now, fine young fellow like yourself. But now, I think maybe you need a little more quality time. Surely mine is the most important position in Harvest. The ability to mold young minds. That's power. You might think Sheriff Dwayne's the most important man here, big guy. But he only
Big
deals
guy.
with my failures. When I do my job right, the sheriff never sees a thing.
Big guy.
Why do you keep calling me big guy?
A sign of respect, lad.
Right?
As principal, my station is higher than yours now. But you never know what the future holds, so you should always hedge your bets and pay tribute to your inferiors. You never know who will come to power, or who, even now, wields it behind the scenes. For all I know, you might already be a member of the Order, with access to the lodge.
Maybe.
If that were the case, you'd be my superior, and I'd be all that much better off having shown you respect and spent some quality time with you.
Stop saying it that way.
What do you mean, quality time?
Some, like Miss Whaley, favor stern discipline, corporal punishment, as a means of socialization. Myself, I temper discipline with love. Quality time can be such a warm, sharing experience. After just a few sessions, you'd stop this amnesia nonsense and become a productive member of society and a fit candidate for the lodge.
I hope I won't be sharing any quality time with you.
Big guy, barring some quality time, the greatest gift I can bestow upon you as your former principal is a word of advice. Join the Order of the Harvest Moon at any cost. Within the lodge lies your future, and without dust.
There was there anything else? I'm not sure. Nah, I'm pretty sure it's fine.
Drop in again soon. Adult education is a wonderful thing, as is adult quality time.
And why'd you go and have to say that? Come on. It's just... What a fucking nightmare this place is. Adult quality time. Children look stunned and zombified. Oh fuck.
My goodness, class, this is Stephen. He used to be a student here at Gein Memorial. Say hello, class. They're reticent. The educator's gravest problem today is the apathy of the students.
What's wrong with their heads?
I can tell you in one word, Stephen. Discipline. Thank goodness you weren't a sulky bear. You were always a smiley bear.
He's mighty
Then
here.
you remember me?
Not as such. So many pupils, Stephen. They come and they go. But I can always spot those who were nice boys. You can tell from the forehead. The lobes, right, class? I'm glad you stopped by, Stephen. Would you care to say a few words to the class about civic responsibility?
Ah, my
Not
favorite subject.
really. I was just passing through.
Oh, but you must, Stephen. A positive role model might be just the thing to inspire these little monsters. Stephen, have you any questions for me? Or shall I continue with class? Ask away then.
Corporal punishment.
We don't practice corporal punishment here. I've never believed in that old adage, spare the rod and spoil the child. A rod is too thin. But a baseball bat?
Ah, I see.
That bridges the generation gap quite nicely. Oh dear, Colonel Moreau is conducting another air raid drill. Everyone into the hallway, quick!
If an A-bomb hits, what good is it gonna do to duck and cover?
Oh no.
My stars, that was exciting.
You could say that. That's one way to describe it.
This lodge, what do you know about it?
The building itself, like Harvest, was constructed with a specific purpose in mind. That noble intent is known only to those within the Order. You're at about the right age to join them, Stephen, and you will do so if you care about your future.
Can you tell me anything about Harvest?
Harvest was founded by the Order of the Harvest Moon about 100 years ago.
For what purpose?
For what
Why, I'm
purpose?
sure you'd have to ask them. You'll find the members of the Order at the lodge.
Guess I'll have to do that. Bye.
Stop by any time, Stephen.
Oh, I won't. If it's up to me. So much wrong. And the TV station is the last place we haven't visited yet, I think. Examine the Indians. Too busy drinking and smoking. Take away. Yeah, sure. Hello?
Stay tuned, buckaroos. There's more to come on Range Ryder's Cowboy Roundup. So don't go away.
You're my favorite deputy.
And what's your name, hombre?
Steve.
Steve's a swell name. My dog's name is
Now
Steve.
there's a fucking stage
Would you
assistant.
like my autograph, Steve?
That's what everybody in the media business looks like. That guy with the fucking cigarette right there.
Here you go, then.
TV violence.
Violence? What about it?
I love all the blood and gore on your show.
Violence is as American as apple pie and low SAT scores.
Hoorah!
Where would we be right now if the Cowboys hadn't gone out west and butchered innocent people to steal their land?
That's right.
Answer me that, Mr. Know-It-All.
But what about studies that have shown that children become more violent when watching violence?
Buckaroo,
Those are
I rip
bullshit.
the guts out of godless heathen Injuns. Most kids don't see godless heathen Injuns on a regular basis.
Injuns?
And if they do, they better either get their eyes checked or do like old Range Rider and shoot the bejesus out of them. Lest they want to go untreated for psychotic hallucinations or wind up with their scalps hanging from a buckskin belt. Oh, shit! Ow! Shit on a stickeroo! The parents that are griping about violence on TV are the same parents that go outside in the morning to fetch their papers, secure in the knowledge that they won't get an arrow through the noodle because the violence they hate so much done cleared the engines out of the neighborhood.
Yeah, civilization has benefited from violence. But should violence be treated as entertainment?
Check my ratings, son. Violence is entertainment. I just put it on the air. If some kid watches, that says something about the kid, not me. Now, excuse me, we're going back on the air.
No, he's got a point. Oh dear. No one is operating the cameras. It's fine. Cameras operate themselves. A fairly primitive form of mind control, yeah.